Imagine waking up in a country that looks and feels like the year 2050, while the rest of the world is still arguing about 2025 problems. A country where your phone is your wallet, your ID, your train ticket, and your access to everything. Where hospitals look like luxury hotels, but cost less than a doctor's waiting room in the West. Where three cultures celebrate on the same street, and everyone, tourists, strangers, neighbors, is welcome. Sounds like science fiction, right? A place too advanced, too organized, too harmonious to be real. Well, it's real. It exists. And almost the entire world misunderstands it. Because while global media talks endlessly about the same famous countries, this one has been quietly building something extraordinary. And nobody's paying attention. Before I ever came here, I had the same assumptions you probably do. I had the stereotypes, the old stories, the outdated images. You know, the whole developing country trying to catch up narrative. But the moment I experienced it myself, everything shattered. What I thought I knew was wrong. Not a little wrong, but embarrassingly wrong. So let me take you inside a place the world keeps underestimating. A place that will change how you see Southeast Asia forever. So buckle up, because we're diving into the real Malaysia. And what I'm about to show you might completely rewrite your understanding of this country. But first, only 2% of people watching videos like this subscribe. If you want more deep dives into the most misunderstood countries on Earth, hit subscribe right now, because what's coming next, it might be the biggest shock of all. Check if you have subscribed. Let's start exactly where my journey began, at the airport. And trust me, it's not what you think it is. 1. The airport that destroys all stereotypes. When my plane touched down, I expected chaos. I expected noise, confusion, long lines, outdated facilities. You know, everything you've been told to expect from a developing country. But what happened next? None of the stereotypes even survived the first 10 minutes. Kuala Lumpur International Airport didn't feel developing. It felt elite, quiet, organized, architecturally stunning, clean, modern. I've flown into airports that claim to be world-class. KLIA makes a lot of them look like bus stations. That was my first shock, and it made me ask myself, if the airport looks like this, what else have I been wrong about? Let's find out, because the next thing Malaysia showed me changed everything I believed about Asian infrastructure. 2. The transport system that embarrasses the West. I left the airport expecting the usual: overpriced taxis, confusing signs, messy traffic. Instead, I stepped into one of the smoothest, most efficient transportation systems I've ever used. Trains that arrive every few minutes, clean stations, crystal clear signage, integrated routes where buses, trains, and ride shares all sync like clockwork. In New York, I once waited 42 minutes for a train. In KL, I never waited longer than 4. The system wasn't catching up to Western cities. It was exceeding them. And it made me wonder how many people avoid Malaysia because they believe outdated myths. If transportation could be this advanced, then what else was hiding behind the stereotypes? The answer hit me next, and it was delicious. 3. The food culture that humiliates most countries. Every country claims to have great food. Malaysia doesn't claim it. Malaysia proves it. Street food here doesn't feel like cheap eats. It feels like stepping into a culinary museum where every dish has survived generations of refinement. Nasi lemak, char kway teow, roti canai, satay, laksa. Dishes so good that UNESCO literally acknowledged Malaysia's food culture. And the price? $2. Sometimes $3. For dishes that would cost $15 to $20 in Western cities. It wasn't cheap because the country was poor. It was affordable because food is a cultural right here, not a luxury. Every meal made me ask, if the food is this advanced, what about healthcare? And Malaysia's answer shocked me again. 4. The hospitals that feel like 5-star hotels. Another stereotype shattered. I walked into a private hospital in Kuala Lumpur expecting something basic. Instead, I stepped into a lobby that looked like a luxury hotel. Marble floors, soft lighting, professional staff, cutting-edge equipment, internationally trained doctors. And get this, a full medical screening that costs thousands in the US cost me less than $300. Results delivered fast. Process smooth service world class. This wasn't developing world medicine. This was premium global healthcare at accessible prices. It made me ask, how is Malaysia doing all this while still being affordable? The answer came the moment I looked at my phone. 5. The technology leap the West didn't see coming. Malaysia didn't just adopt modern tech, it leapfrogged older systems entirely. QR codes everywhere, cashless payments even in wet markets, government services online, internet speeds faster than what I had in major US cities. My phone became my wallet, my transit pass, my parking meter, my everything. So I had to ask, if tech here is more advanced than developed countries, what else is the world getting wrong? And that's when Malaysia hit me with the next shock. Real estate. 6. The real estate reality that makes no sense. By the time I settled into Malaysia's rhythm, the food, the tech, the transportation, I thought I'd seen enough surprises, but then I went apartment hunting. And that's when my jaw actually hit the floor. I expected small, cramped city living prices. I expected affordable to mean sacrificing comfort. But Malaysia doesn't play by those rules. I toured a modern Kuala Lumpur high-rise with floor-to-ceiling windows, rooftop pool gym, 24/7 security, private parking, stylish interiors, incredible city views. And guess what? The rent was less than half what I paid for a tiny studio in a western city. Let me repeat that. Not half the size, half the price. This wasn't cheap because it's low quality. It was affordable and high quality, a combination most countries forgot how to offer years ago. That's when the next question hit me. If Malaysians enjoy this level of living at these prices, what about their education system? Is it also this advanced? What I discovered next shocked me even more. 7. The education system built for the future. Every country claims they care about education. Malaysia actually shows it. The first thing that surprised me wasn't the schools themselves. It was the diversity. British curriculum, American curriculum, IB program, Malaysia has all of them, and they're accessible to both expats and local middle-class families. That alone is rare. But then there's the language factor. Most Malaysian students grow up speaking English, Bahasa Melayu, Mandarin, Tamil, sometimes even more. Meanwhile, in many Western countries, students graduate barely speaking one language fluently. The result? Young Malaysians grow up globally competent, culturally aware, and able to communicate across multiple worlds without even leaving their neighborhood. And this made me wonder, if young people are this prepared, what kind of economy is waiting for them? The answer was not what I expected. 8. The shopping culture that tells a different story. I walked into a Malaysian mall thinking it'd be a smaller, simpler version of what I was used to. Nope, I wasn't ready. Kuala Lumpur malls are like miniature cities. Luxury brands, global fashion houses, innovative local designers, indoor architecture straight out of a sci-fi movie, food courts that taste like Michelin street food. And these malls, they aren't tourist traps. They're full of locals with real spending power. It's not fake prosperity. It's not a setup for visitors. It's a sign of a thriving middle class. So I asked myself, if everyday Malaysians can shop in places like this, how strong is the country's foundation underneath it all? To answer that, I stepped outside the mall, and I stepped into a shock that completely demolished the struggling infrastructure stereotype. 9. The infrastructure the world didn't expect. Here's something nobody tells you. Malaysia's infrastructure doesn't just work, it works better than that of many wealthier nations. Highways, smooth, clean, properly maintained, with landscaping and lighting that show actual planning. Public facilities, modern and functional. City design, a thoughtful balance between green spaces, business districts, and cultural zones. And let me repeat something that blew my mind. Major projects get finished on time and on budget. Tell that to countries where construction projects drag on for 15 years and costs triple the estimate. Malaysia isn't fixing problems, it's building forward. So the question becomes, if they're investing this much into infrastructure, what about the environment? Is the nature holding up, or is it the next casualty of development? That's when Malaysia shocked me again. 10. The environmental surprise no one talks about. Before coming here, I imagined pollution. I imagined smoggy cities. I imagined forests disappearing under development. I was wrong. Again. Malaysia has managed to develop, rapidly expand, economically grow its cities while still protecting massive areas of natural forest. This balance is real, not marketing. National parks, protected reserves, jungle ecosystems. You can drive a short distance from KL and be surrounded by nature that looks untouched by time. The air quality, often better than cities in the US and Europe. Yes, the so-called developed world. This raised a new question for me. If Malaysia is this clean and this safe environmentally, what about personal safety? Is the country actually safe to live in? The answer stunned me. 11. The safety reality no one believes. I felt safer walking around Kuala Lumpur late at night than I ever did in Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, or London. No harassment, no constant fear, no looking over my shoulder, not because of heavy policing, not because of fear,